How many surgeries have you had?
I'm trying to think. It's over 10, I know that. I think it's, would it be 14 now? 14 or 15?
I think it's 14.
Nice.
So,
14, yeah.
and how old are you?
14.
So 14 surgeries in 14 years.
Yeah.
When you see your scars, what do you think?
It's cool.
It's cool.
They kind of fade.
I feel like we might have matching belly scars.
Right. Think so?
Well, mine's a little newer, but I think it might be similar because
Yeah.
twins. Yeah, I think my scar is pretty cool too.
Mm.
Can I ask about your recent leg surgeries?
Mm.
Why did you need that?
One leg was shorter than the other, so they put screws right here and here. Kind of like just boom and boom. Just stop this leg from growing so the shorter leg could catch up.
Okay.
Mm.
Have you ever been there when younger kids are staring at his scars or anything?
Definitely, especially when we would go to public pools. Be like, why is he so short? Where are all the scars from? And I would probably say what he'd gone through, because this isn't something to be ashamed of. Scars just prove how strong and resilient you are. I feel that isn't something to judge. You should just be kind.
Yeah, what do I always say? Choose kind.
Choose kind, yeah.
If everyone was super kind to each other and no one asked questions, then we would learn. Because if someone's mean, that just gives me if someone stares at me, that just gives me an opportunity to teach them. So then they don't make the same mistake or stare at someone again. It's better to learn from your mistakes than just not do them.
What were some early signs that Noah had a genetic condition?
So we only ever knew about the heart, and then he was born. And then it was, okay, well, he has a malrotated intestine. Okay, well, he now isn't growing. He is now, because he didn't grow for 8 months, he has a Chiari-2 malformation. Okay, then it was, then he had, he had his open heart surgery. We thought, okay, great, we're out of the woods. We can deal with the malrotated intestine at a later time. And then it was, infection after infection after infection. And then it was more surgeries and, okay, well, we need to figure out what's going on and what's causing all these things. Then it was more rounds of genetic testing. And every time they thought they had it figured out, they were like, okay, that's not it. So finally, it wasn't until he was probably 5 that they finally determined the 2 genetic disorders that he had, though both are so rare that there's not much known, and he has a very mild case of the Nicolaides-Baraitser. His doctors are they're over in a book or on their phone. They looked that up because they had no clue. I think when he was diagnosed, there was only 10 cases in the United States.
Wow. Noah, what does it feel like to be so unique and one of a kind?
I only see a difference. I only see some stuff which I can't do. But mostly, for the most part, I can do everything else anybody else can. Sometimes even more, because I'm kind of double jointed, and some things I can, if someone needs to get into a small space or they lost me, I pop my arm out of place and sneak under there and get where I need to be. And sometimes with guitar, I can pop, move my fingers more, they're more flexible, stuff like that.
So you have some superpowers?
Kind of, yeah.
What is it like to be Noah's mom?
I would say it's never a dull moment. I'm constantly amazed at how resilient he is. He just goes with the flow. He never, at least doesn't to myself or my husband, he never expresses, a bummed out attitude about the hand he's been dealt. Doesn't ever feel sorry for himself.
How would you describe Noah?
Oh my gosh, Noah is hilarious. He is so funny. He is an entertainer. I would say. Like, he loves to make people laugh. And he's an all-around good kid. He's got a good heart. Everyone always says that. He has a really good heart. And to know him is to love him.
Noah, tell me about your family. What are they like?
They're always by my bedside every time I'm sick. With my mom, she has always supported me through like heart disease and all that. So, and going to the hospital. So as my family, they always came to visit. My mom and dad would, second grade when I was in the hospital for like a week and a half, they would switch out like every day. Like, dad would stay the night, my mom would stay the day. Then next day it would be opposite. So they were just all very supportive.
Georgia, what is it like to have Noah as a brother?
It's kind of difficult sometimes, like, see, like, how much he struggles, and, like, there isn't really anything that I can do or, like, my family can do, like, or, like, as a sister to, like, take that pain away. But, like, definitely, like, growing up, because I'm 2 years older than him, it's definitely hard, like, pretty much all of my life. I've, like, seen him struggle.
Noah, tell me about Georgia.
I feel bad because when I was having all the surgery, she was a kid. She kind of got all those like toddler years kind of taken away from her.
With the surgeries and my parents being like in the hospital a lot, I like didn't really see them as much, but I knew, like looking back, like at the time I was super upset and just wanted like my mom and dad, and I wanted Noah to like come home. And like looking back, I knew that Noah needed the attention because he was really struggling, and I'm glad that Noah like had my parents' attention and great medical staff that helped him.
Because he was on a G-tube for so long, and because he had he was diagnosed with post-traumatic eating disorder, because he had so many upper respiratory infections, they were constantly shoving tubes down him to like help clear the congestion, plus the multiple times he was intubated, either due to illness or surgeries. And so he was always very protective of his airway and his mouth, and like did not want to eat orally. You know, when he finally did get the G-tube out, his fistula did not close because it had been in for so long. And so he had to have surgery to close it. And then during that surgery, they perforated his stomach. And then he went into hypovolemic shock. Like, yeah, so it was great. But we didn't know at the time, like when we took him home, we didn't know that his stomach was perfed. Like they did the surgery, we took him home. And then he just kind of languished all weekend, and I kept calling into them going, this is not right, like there's something wrong. And finally I was like, that Sunday, I was like, I'm taking him into the hospital. Did the x-ray and realized that anything that he had eaten or drinking in that 48-hour period was all in his abdomen. And I was like, they're like, we're going back in for surgery, like now. And I'm like, great. So, I mean, I can look back now and be like, look upon it without being in utter like horror or shock. But at the time I was just like, this cannot possibly be happening.
What do you think you would like to do when you grow up?
Definitely a musician would be fun. A lawyer, or I've always wanted, when I was younger, I wanted to be a police officer. But yeah, probably a police officer, mostly a musician, or probably maybe a lawyer. Maybe I'll get into that, being a lawyer, because I feel like that could be more of like a relaxed. It's still a lot of like work, but it's not like as much as like running around like police officers and musicians do, going everywhere. But I'd like to be a musician. I want to tour the world and play music. I want to be a cardiologist as well. Sorry about that.
And I want to be a pediatrician, so.
We'll work at both at Children's.
I actually do want to work at Children's.
Cardiologist would be fun because I could give back to a little small community of people with congenital heart disease in my area. I don't know anybody. Let's go, well, I got heart disease. So I'd give back to everyone who also has it because I've been through it.
If you met a kid who also had a similar situation as you, would you have any advice for them?
Always remember like stuff that you love. Just distract yourself, really. Like just it's hard to explain because everyone's really different. For me, advice probably just keep on pushing and do what you love. It doesn't really matter what you have. Just keep on pushing. Sometimes you can do stuff better than other people who are normal. Stuff like that. Yeah.